Well, glad you're still with us on Colorado and Company. Easter is only a few days away, and this year, instead of your normal ham dinner, let's shake it up a bit with that menu. Joyce Kelly, the executive director of the Colorado Pork Producers Council, is here with a citrus-infused dish. And Joyce, I have to say, our studio smells amazing right now.
It does smell very good.
It really does. And I also have to admit, I've already had a little taste, and wow, just delicious. So thank you so much for bringing all of this. So what are we making today?
So we have a crock pot, and this was done in slow cooker. I think one of the things that we're really concentrating on is the nutritional value of pork as a powerhouse of protein, but also affordability for the family. When you go to the store and look for a protein to feed your family, really the winner this year by far is pork. It outpaces poultry, and with all the problems they've had, of course, and beef as well. So it's not only nutritious and delicious and easy to fix, but it's also very economical. So we wanted to do a little spin on something traditional, not necessarily ham. Ham can be a little bit pricey. We went with a pork butt, and we slow roasted it. It's got a rub that's delicious of oregano and garlic and olive oil and citrus zest. We've got orange and lime zest in it. The serrano and the cilantro are in the sauce that we made to put on the dish afterwards, and so we use a little bit of the rub to make a sauce. If your family's not into the spice, maybe you have children, bell pepper works just fine. If you don't like cilantro, then parsley is awesome, basil, any of those things. And the absolute wonderful thing is after you rub this, you put it in, you cook it while you're out Easter egg hunting or whatever it is you want to do the morning of Easter, and it's 6-8 hours later, you have a delicious meal.
Yes, and you come home to the house smelling incredible.
Absolutely.
I love slow cooking anything because you always come home to that smell. And this to me is something that, like you said, is not only nutritious and delicious, but when you buy something like a pork butt, this does feed the entire family no problem, which I think is just a win-win all over. So what sides would you pair with this dish?
So what we did was just some greens. I love rainbow chard this time of year because to me that's Easter, the beautiful colors. I'm sick of the snow, and I was at the grocery store. I was just going to do regular greens, and I saw the rainbow chard. I said that's perfect for Easter. It makes me feel good of spring. And then roasted potatoes. This recipe is, if you're not following social media, if you haven't seen the Parmesan roasted potatoes all over.
Is that
so
what
that's what these are.
Ooh, they've been on my list.
And absolutely, it's, and then you can do, if you don't want to do that many carbs, white rice, or if you don't want to, if you want to make an Asian twist on it with some Asian herbs, white rice is perfect with it. So it's all kinds of things. And you mentioned the leftovers. So the great thing about pork butt leftovers is it's a blank slate. You can make tacos, you can make nachos, you can make enchiladas, you can make a rice bowl, or just put barbecue sauce and have a pulled pork sandwich, and it's delicious.
So easy to do. So, okay, you mentioned at the beginning a ham and how that is something that is more expensive, something that maybe we wouldn't want to go for something like this. What is the difference between a ham and a pork shoulder if we're looking, or a pork butt, you know, something like that?
So I get that question all the time. Pork butt has to come from the butt of a pig, but it doesn't. It comes from the shoulder. So if you look here on our pig, this area here is the ham. And the whole rear leg is the ham. So that is known as the ham. This time of year, it's what people eat. We love ham. We encourage you to buy ham and eat ham. If you want to save money, a pork shoulder is a good option. So we call pork shoulder pork butt. And it is actually the shoulder of the pig. And it's made up of two cuts. There's the shoulder and the picnic. So we call it a pork butt. This is the #1 question I get. Why is it a pork butt if it's not the butt? So back when we were marketing and merchandising and moving meat back in the early days, like forever ago, we used to take pork shoulders, or the industry took pork shoulders and packed them in wooden barrels called butts.
Oh my goodness.
And so they knew how many shoulders would fit in a butt.
What?
And so it became pork butt.
Oh my
so now we
gosh.
don't see the name as much as we used to, but it used to be Boston butt because a lot of pork moved through the ports and the water system in Boston area. And they would take those butts and put them underneath the ships where it was cool in the water surrounding them, and it became the Boston butt.
Oh my goodness.
So the Boston butt, the pork butt, pork shoulder, it's all
There
the
we
same
go.
thing.
Oh my gosh.
And there's
that sounds
actually
so
two
much.
cuts. There's the picnic and the shoulder.
shoulder.
The picnic's the lower end of it.
Wow.
And both of them take long, low, slow cooking because they're very tough.
Well, Joyce, I cannot wait to make this pork butt shoulder picnic. I've learned. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I'm
no
so
problem.
looking forward to making this. And honestly, this is such a great idea. And for more recipes, you guys, you can check out coloradopork.org. That's COpork.org.
Yes.